Right now, I mean, the most productive, fast-growing businesses on Earth, they are not firing their human virtual assistants to replace them with AI.
No, not at all. They are actually doing the exact opposite.
Exactly. They're actively demanding that their VAs use a very specific ecosystem of new AI tools to become these unstoppable force multipliers.
Yeah, it's a complete paradigm shift.
And, well, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are tearing into this really eye-opening article. It's titled "The Force Multiplier: How Modern VAs Leverage AI Agents."
It's such a great
It
piece.
really is. And our mission for today's deep dive is to just completely shatter this massive misconception that's floating around the business world right now.
Right, the whole man versus machine thing.
Yeah, this idea that you have to choose between hiring a human virtual assistant or using AI automation.
Which is just a totally false dichotomy. I mean, it's steering a lot of managers and founders in completely the wrong direction right now.
Totally. Because if you're listening to this, you, like all of us, probably just have this deep desire to be insanely productive without, well, without burning out.
Exactly. Nobody wants to work 100-hour weeks anymore.
Right. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're managing a team or just trying to navigate the tech landscape in 2026, everyone is wondering how to get things done faster.
And with higher quality, too. It's not just about speed.
Right. And the ultimate takeaway here, the businesses winning right now aren't firing their human VAs for AI. They're demanding their VAs use AI to become force multipliers.
Yeah, but before we can really understand how humans and AI are working together so well today, we first need to define the fundamental shift happening in AI itself.
Right, because we aren't talking about the old stuff anymore.
No, we're moving from AI assistants to AI agents.
Okay, so break that down for us. What is the actual technical difference between an assistant and an agent?
So an AI assistant, like your standard ChatGPT from a few years ago or Siri, it's reactive.
Like it waits for you to tell it what to do.
Exactly. One prompt yields one response. You input a command, it predicts a response, and then it just sits there completely idle until you give it explicit instructions again.
So you constantly have to hold its hand.
Yeah, it's a bottleneck. But agents, on the other hand, they are proactive. They use something called multi-component autonomy.
Multi-component autonomy, that sounds complicated.
It just means the AI can independently reason. It gets a high-level goal, and it figures out the steps.
Right.
It uses external data. It problem solves to reach the goal without needing step-by-step hand-holding.
Oh, wow. So it's making its own micro decisions along the way.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is this brilliant analogy from IBM that the text brings in. They say, imagine you are a movie star.
Okay, I can do that.
If you have an assistant, they handle the dry cleaning when you ask them to, or they book a flight because you said you needed one.
Right, they just do the task you gave them.
But an agent works around the clock to maximize your opportunities in ways you didn't even know to ask for. It's out there finding scripts, negotiating deals. One responds, the other acts.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to make sure it really clicks. It's basically the difference between a microwave and a personal chef.
I like that.
Right, because a microwave only heats the food for the exact seconds you punch in. It does nothing until you press start.
Yeah, and it stops the second the timer hits 0.
Exactly. But the agent is the chef who looks in your fridge, decides what you like based on your diet, cooks it from scratch, and plates it. You just said you were hungry, and the chef handled everything.
That is a perfect way to look at it. The chef understands the desired end state.
Right. So if these AI agents are acting like autonomous chefs, cooking up all these workflows, the natural next question is, why do we need the human VA at all?
And that is the logical jump a lot of people make. If the software can run the sequence, just let the software run the business.
Yeah. Why pay a salary if the agent can just do it?
Well, it seems logical until you look at the limits of AI and where it consistently fails solo. AI still struggles massively with deep context, relationship management, and accountability.
Context is a big one. I mean, what does a failure of context actually look like in the real world?
Well, the source material gives a great example about scheduling. An AI might be able to perfectly draft an email or schedule a meeting.
Right. Technically flawless execution.
Yeah, but it completely misses that your CEO is already double booked, or that a Friday afternoon block looks open on the calendar but is fiercely protected for deep work.
Oh, I see. It doesn't know the unwritten rules of the office.
Exactly. Or, an AI drafts a perfect email, but it doesn't realize it's replying to the wrong thread and sending sensitive info to a vendor.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a nightmare.
And then there's the nuance in client management. A human VA knows when a client is anxious and needs a gentle emotional nudge.
Like a really empathetic update.
Yeah. Versus when they're just in a rush and want pure speed, like a bulleted list, AI just applies a generalized tone. It doesn't get human psychology.
So the human is kind of the ultimate safeguard.
Absolutely. They ensure process compliance, spot errors with that institutional context, and escalate exceptions before they turn into actual lawsuits.
But wait, aren't these AI models getting smarter every month? Won't they eventually learn context? I mean, their memory's getting huge.
They are getting better at predicting context, sure. But here's the core difference. While AI handles volume, humans handle nuance and accountability.
Accountability, meaning who takes the blame?
Exactly. AI doesn't have skin in the game. If it makes a mistake and a relationship sours, or a lawsuit hits because of a compliance error, the algorithm doesn't get sued.
The business owner does.
Right. The human is the one with skin in the game. They are the operator keeping things safe.
Okay, so having established that the human VA acts as the manager of the I want to get into the tools. We need to know exactly what tools are actually in their toolkit right now in 2026.
Yeah, the ecosystem has evolved so much. The source breaks down 4 specific tools that any modern VA should be using.
Let's go through them. What's the first one?
The first is Claude by Anthropic. It is really the gold standard for careful reasoning and high-quality long-form writing.
So it's better than just churning out generic text.
Much better. It reliably follows detailed style instructions and avoids those generic, robotic phrases.
So it's perfect for things like standard operating procedures or proposals or, brand
Yeah.
voice emails.
Exactly. It synthesizes information while keeping the brand's authentic voice intact.
Okay, so Claude is the writer. What's next?
Next is Perplexity AI. And this is designed for research, not just conversation.
I've heard it called Google with footnotes.
That is the best description for it. It handles complex, multi-hop reasoning and provides real-time, cited web sources.
Wait, what is multi-op reasoning?
It means it can take a really layered question like find 3 competitors, summarize their pricing, and pull their recent press releases, and it does all those searches simultaneously.
Oh, wow. So instead of you clicking back and forth for hours.
Right. It turns 2 hours of manual competitor research into a 10-minute task, and you can verify the facts because it cites the actual links.
That is incredible leverage. Okay, so Claude for writing, Perplexity for research. What
Yeah.
about building things like presentations or data models?
For that, they use Manus AI. It launched last year in 2025, and it's pitched as the first fully autonomous AI agent.
Fully autonomous. So this is the chef we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. You give Manus a high-level goal, and it orchestrates sub-agents to browse the web, create files, write code, and build massive deliverables from scratch.
So it's like a project manager delegating to a team of mini agents.
Precisely. One sub-agent pulls financial data, another writes Python to format it into Excel, and a third makes a slide deck.
That is wild. Okay, so we have 3 powerful tools. What is the fourth one?
The fourth is Moltbot, formerly known as Claudebot. This is the AI that actually does things across your communications.
Okay, how is it different from the others?
Well, it runs locally on your machine or private server. It's not a shared SaaS product in the cloud.
Huh.
And it plugs directly into 10-plus messaging apps simultaneously.
Wait, like Slack and WhatsApp.
Yeah. Slack, WhatsApp, Teams, iMessage. It has this persistent memory, so it remembers past projects across different sessions and apps.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Since Moltbot connects to over 10 platforms at once, is it basically like giving your VA a digital octopus that has a tentacle in Slack, another in WhatsApp, and another in your calendar, all sharing the same brain?
Yes, that is exactly what it is. And because it's running locally, it's secure. It monitors everything without violating corporate data privacy.
Okay, so we have this toolkit. Claude, Perplexity, Manus, and Moltbot. Now that we know the tools, let's see how a top-tier VA actually orchestrates them into a supercharged workflow.
Yeah, let's walk through a real-world scenario from the text. Say a massive industry trend or regulatory shift drops suddenly.
Okay, panic mode.
Right. You need a strategy document, a blog post, and updated financial charts by the end of the day. A solo human would fail.
Yeah, you'd have to pick one and ignore the rest.
But the VA plus AI workflow is a symphony of execution. First, the VA uses Perplexity to instantly pull the live legislative data and market reactions.
Boom. Research done in 10 minutes.
Exactly. Then they feed that research to Claude to draft an empathetic, brand-aligned blog post about it.
Okay, and while Claude is writing.
While Claude is writing, the VA spins up Manus to autonomously build the supporting data charts and update the Excel models based on that same research.
Wow, so they were running 3 major cognitive tasks at the same time.
And while all of that is happening, Moltbot is monitoring the calendar and Slack for conflicts, automatically drafting reassuring holding replies to panicked team members.
So the VA isn't doing the manual typing or data entry. They are just managing the flow and doing quality control.
Exactly. They are the air traffic controller. And when you look at the leverage ratio stats, it's staggering. Programmers using AI are coding twice as many projects.
Double the output.
Yeah. And average users save over 30 minutes a day just on basic stuff. When a VA applies this ecosystem across every single task,
The savings multiply exponentially.
if we connect this to the bigger picture, the text uses this powerful surgeon analogy. The whole AI versus human VA debate is just a completely false choice.
Yeah.
It's like asking if a surgeon should use their hands or their highly advanced instrument.
Well, that's good. You need both.
You absolutely need the skilled hands operating the advanced tools. The precision is the tool, but the judgment is the human.
So what does this all mean? Well, distilling it down, AI won't replace your VA. But a VA who knows how to use AI will absolutely replace a VA who doesn't.
100%. The baseline has shifted.
Which brings us to the ultimate question you need to ask yourself today. As a leader or business owner, you have to ask, is my VA using AI to bring me more value than they ever could alone?
Because if the answer is yes, you don't just have an employee anymore. You have a massive competitive advantage.
You have a literal force multiplier.
And this raises an important question, one that the source touches on. If your virtual assistant is using AI to handle all the basic execution.
Right, all the drafting, scheduling, data building.
Yeah. And the human is now purely managing strategy, overseeing complex tools, and exercising high-level judgment. Does your assistant eventually just become your chief operating officer?
Wait, that is such a wild thought. Because they are basically running an entire digital workforce.
Exactly. And if they become your COO, how does your own role change? If you aren't managing the micro tasks anymore, what should you be focusing on?
You have to step up and actually design the airport, not just watch the radar. That is definitely something to mull over. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a great conversation.
It really has. We hope this shattered some misconceptions for you and showed you what's actually possible today. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep learning.